Welcome back. You're watching the WSL Post Show, and to the winners goes the spoils, and you can see the trophies. We've discovered our champions here at the Swatch Women's Pro as well as the Hurley Pro. I'm joined on the desk by a couple of world champions. Pretty stoked on their company, and to have, you know, the caliber of these men sitting on my left, I've got big wave world champ Peter Mel as well as 88 world champ Barton Litch. Welcome to the show, boys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rosie. And what a finals day. I think we came here excited with sunshine, and we were greeted with a little bit of Olean surf. So overall, we finished up and some pretty good surf.
Yeah, the waves were amazing. It was inconsistent, but it made the strategy and that side of things really interesting.
I mean, we came here this morning, we had our semi-finals set. Do you guys think that you could have picked these champions that we've seen today? I mean, we've seen some amazing performances from the athletes, but today we really saw the cream rise to the top. I mean, Peter, what did you think of the ladies' side? You know, Stephanie Gilmore back in the final.
I would think that, you know, the performances that we've seen from day one in the Swatch Women's Pro all the way till the finals day, the two surfers that were in form in my eyes were Tyler Wright and Stephanie Gilmore. They ended up making it to the final. So again, you talk about cream rising to the crop. Those were the two surfers putting up the best scores, time in and time out, each and every heat, and have them match up in the final and put on the show that they did. It was exciting stuff.
Well, on the men's side, you know, just looking at the performances that Philip Toledo put up in his quarterfinal heats, that was so impressive. Today, we were so looking forward to the matchup with himself and Jordy Smith. I mean, what did you peg for today's action, Barton?
I suppose, like with the women, both those guys posted massive big scores in early rounds, and were on fire early, and then you can't stay at that level the whole event, can you? And we saw Tyler sort of dip down for a while and peak at the right time. Same with Jordy Smith. He peaked today. He was in form all day and dominated.
Yeah, you know, as the season goes on, 2016, I mean, it's such a long journey for these athletes. I mean, how do you keep that momentum up and, like we said, click into that next gear when you need it?
It's all in the mind, right? I think that there's certain people rise to different types of status. Like, you know, some need to train hard, some need to surf a lot, some don't need to surf as much. You know, you get a Kelly Slater, for example. I mean, the guy was off in Florida, surfed one time before he came to Tahiti, showed up in Tahiti and won. So, I mean, at different stages of your career, too, are different motivations.
Yeah, you got to believe. No matter where you are, you've just got to believe and have that faith and, you know, just adapt to the moment.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what we've seen from these athletes, is they just bringing out the best time and time again, and every time they're competing, they have something more to give. We are going to have a look at the final that we just saw hit the water for the Hurley Pro. The men, Jordy Smith, the big Zaffa Brew, up against Joel Parkinson. I mean, a veteran, probably someone that Jordy has really looked up to. He's taken a leaf out of Joel's book with his power surfing.
Well, and you look at the very beginning of this heat, and we had a bit of an error by Jordy, which at sometimes he rides so high on confidence that it could take a little bit of wind out of his sails, but he was able to persevere through it, no issues whatsoever, and kept building. And, you know, it put a lot of pressure on Joel.
And he did that while Joel had priority. He dropped that 7-4 and 8-1-7 while Joel had priority, put the pressure right on Joel. The inconsistency of the surf played into Jordy's favour, and then right at the end it switched back. Joel got that 8-4-3 and it was wide open again. A mistake with priority from Jordy, but Joel wasn't able to capitalise.
And how was the set at the very end too? I mean, and that played a big part of it, because again, they were both looking at that wave, they both looked at it, they let it go, and then there was two more waves. Jordy ended up getting the better of the exchange because he ended up having wave number 3, which we haven't seen a lot of.
No.
And, you know, and it turned it around. I mean, if we hadn't seen this last wave, it would have been close.
Yeah, and that was the 8-4 we just watched there, and this is that one that he backed it up on. He did improve, went to a 7-6-3, didn't really need it, but again, look at the form. He was just scintillating in these small waves. We talked about how he's a big guy, but look at that bow. Love the showmanship. Great win.
Well, you can call this event, you know, the event of upsets. We saw the top seeds bow out relatively early in this event, and Jordy Smith coming in at number 6 really capitalized on that opportunity. So seeing that open door, and you can tell that he's just riding off that confidence. He wants to come away with more event wins in the season.
Well, I think he's at around 28,000, 29,000 points. Adding 10,000 points gets him right up there, sitting behind him. So this gap was now really tightened up, because he comes in, he sits at number 4, but like you look at the surfers that are there, Gabriel Medina, Matt Wilkinson, those guys are now looking over their shoulder at another surfer in the world title mix.
I love this Rubik Cube.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I love this. I wanted to say to you, Barton, I love this Rubik Cube. I mean, it just the combinations and the ways that you can go just keeps it so exciting. There's so many ways that you can calculate these variables.
Yeah, you throw in Julian Wilson and Kelly Slater, and it's like it could go any way. And now Jordy's thrown himself in the mix. Again, John and Gabe, those guys are leading the race, and they're the ones we're watching, but there's an amazing support cast.
Well, Barton, one of the interesting questions that was posed to you this morning, someone said, have you ever seen someone lose a world title with 4 event wins? And you said it was the year that you won, that you came away with it. And as we look at the women's world title race and the way that it's shaking up, I mean, Tyler Wright has just found that winning feeling. And just tell me about tapping into that. It must just feel so good to be able to perform at the drop of a hat.
Oh, she's got the groove, hasn't she? She's just looking so powerful. She's got all of those elements that the judges want to see. The crowd love it. And she's a lovely person. Just seeing a post-heat interview with you, Rosie, so much emotion, so much heart. And that's what it takes to be a world champion, and she's showing all of the signs. I don't think she's going to be beaten from here. I can't see it happening.
Well, I mean, you look at too is that she's so much different, right? I mean, each and every season, generally you kind of have a personality that stays the same through a career. You'll see subtle changes here and there, but I mean, completely different type of surfing here. Much more serious. Her fun-loving, dancing kind of stuff has gone to the wayside a little bit. She's actually talking to a coach and applying strategy, and she never used to remember our post-heat interviews with her, Rosie. No strategy. I was not talking about strategy. Now she's got like, I've got a goal in mind. It's very simple. I'm going to win every heat. I'm going to do it at best I can, put in as much energy as I can, and I like this competitive Tyler Wright.
Well, you think about the role that Glenn Hall, her coach, has played in the success of Maddie Wilkinson and now Tyler Wright, and just really sharpening up those edges and bringing their head back into the game. I think a lot of the time these people have talent, but sometimes they're just all over the shop, so you really got to tighten up those variables.
Yeah, and big props to Steph Gilmore as well. She was in amazing form. You see that 9-1-3, the highest score of the final. An event win for her has got to be just right around the corner.
Oh, guaranteed. I mean, you can never count out Steph Gilmore, 6-time world champion. We have a look at the ratings. I mean, she was coming in at 7th. So to even kind of wrap your head around that number for Steph Gilmore is just not even in the hemisphere. As you look at the ladies' rankings, I mean, every one of these ladies is so talented.
Well, with that runner-up finish, she only jumps up 2 spots. So, again, Tatiana Weston-Webb has a win. Carissa Moore yet with a win, but sitting at number 3. Courtney and Tyler still got a pretty good gap, but, I mean, even Carissa's right there in the mix.
Yeah, I love the way this world title is shaking up. And you think about Courtney Conlog and Carissa Moore just watching this event unfold. It's really got to be pretty brutal. And also Nikki Van Dyke, I mean, she was one of those performers throughout this event that we were just so impressed with. It's good to see her only move up 1 spot in the rankings, but still putting her name in the hat.
And her best career result ever, so a semi-final for her. She's got to be stoked with that. She's a young girl. She's going to learn, and a win for her as well can't be far off, because she's got what it takes. She's got that spunk and that smart. So a win for her, it couldn't be far off.
I love it. I mean, even seeing someone like Sage Erickson come into the conversation, making that semi-final, she's really put her name in the hat too. And I mean, we talk about the QS, the qualifying series, but you want to really qualify on the championship tour within that top 10. How important is it for someone like Sage that's always backed herself up on that qualifying series to make her mark on this world tour?
Well, I think at this point we've been talking about the final 4, and it's usually 4 women that have been there kind of talking about it. This year we've got a new mix with Tatiana in there talking about it. We had a little slip in Sally. Now all of a sudden we have Sage Erickson making it into the semis, as well as Nikki Van Dyke. So again, what's happening is that it's compressing. That top 10 is getting much more solid in the sense that all of them could win an event. It's not just Carissa and Stephanie and Sally and Courtney. It's going to be a whole new mix, a new blood.
Well, you couldn't even swipe, a credit card through those points. There's such a thin margin separating the ladies at the moment. And we just look forward to seeing them, at the next stop. As the year just dwindles down, you've only got a few more chances to really make your mark. And as we think about the next stop on tour for the ladies, the Cascais Women's Pro, this is such a long leg. Going from North America and then moving on to Europe, it really is, you've got to keep that momentum flaring on all cylinders.
You certainly do, and Portugal's one of those places that opens up opportunities. You get that momentum for Steph. I wouldn't be surprised to that little sting of not winning, but getting so close, that might be what it takes to just kind of push her to that next level.
We got to look, though, to at those last 3 events, basically, but the first 2 before we head back to Maui. The Cascais Women's Pro, the Roxy Pro, Tyler Wright has been very dominant in those 2 events, and so you would think that she's looking very good to maybe even clinch over there in Europe.
Yeah, before we even get down to the final events, and I dare say I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen at all.
Yeah, totally, and it would be lovely to see Stephanie Gilmore really play spoiler to the world title, just thinking about the role that those ladies can play. I mean, Lakey Peterson, Sally Fitzgibbons, Steph Gilmore, they all have an opportunity to kind of upset Tyler Wright's run the way that they seeded at the moment.
Well, and they sure do, but I mean, I think that you look at now with that runner-up finish, and you saw where Stephanie finished. There'll still be some of those early round matchups where, again, Stephanie will be playing a big-time spoiler.
And Sally Fitz, too. She's got to break through this sort of hard run that she's been going through. She's such a fighter. I wouldn't be surprised to see her in those next 3 events re-establish herself, too.
Yeah, we have so much to look forward to on the men's side. On the women's side, I mean, thinking about the men, the way that the world title has been shaking up. Jordy Smith came in at 6. We've mentioned how it's kind of dwindled down in this opportunity for him. I mean, I'm just still flying high on the results that we're seeing here at the Hurley Pro.
Waving that Safa flag, aren't you? I mean, but you know what? Jordy actually, from the very beginning of this event, has looked in form. I mean, he had great equipment. It's unique that we talk about how important equipment is, but I mean, if you were to look at surfers in this event, Barton, that had really good boards under their feet, they were in the final. I mean, that's what it came down to. You could see that those guys were so consistent. You know, those magic boards don't really ever catch rails or anything, so it's one of those boards, you know, things that magic boards mean a lot.
Yeah, the confidence that you can get from the beautiful equipment under your feet is just so impressive to see those magic carpets. And for those of you watching on the CBS Sports Network, we will be sending you to regularly scheduled programming. The Doug Gottlieb Show is coming up next, and thank you for watching. Welcome back to the WSL Post Show. We are just buzzing off Finals Day action here. We're about to crown our champions, but before we do that, we've really got to look back at the performances that we've seen. Joining me, Rosie Hodge, is Peter Mel, Big Wave World Tour champion, as well as Barton Lynch, 88 World Champ. And boys, I mean, we're thinking about today's action, the Finals Day that we've seen wrap up. I mean, I don't think that we could have asked for a better day. I mean, the waves, a little bit inconsistent, a little bit smaller than what we would have liked, but the action was incredible. Well,
Surfline had us forecast a little bit of a bump in the swell, a little bit different, not necessarily bigger, but definitely different. You know, we had a little more consistency. Again, the conditions, I think, were the reason why Surfline had us hang out an extra extra day. Yesterday, there were still some sets in the water, but it was kind of chunky with all that south wind. Today, nice and smooth in the morning.
Oh, it was beautiful conditions. As you said, and the inconsistency, it adds a whole other element to competing, doesn't it? And we saw that all day with the use of priority, the management of time, and the management of the lineup becoming critically important. That's what cost Philippe Toledo the semi against Jordy Smith, and that was one of the stories all day. So I like that part. I find that super interesting watching that side of it. So it does bring another element when the waves aren't quite so consistent.
Yeah, you are at the mercy of the ocean. It's how you overcome it. And right now we're about to hand out some of the silverware. So we're going to pass it along to Joe Turpel to hand out to the winners.
For stop number 8 for the men, 7 for the women on the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. And thank you for the lifeguards on hand once again. You guys are some of the best in the business, keeping us all safe here. And thank you for this beautiful community watching over each other, because we know this is the greatest sport on earth. We're watching them in the water and on land. And thanks for breathing with us for such a special event. The history of this event goes back not too far when you compare it to Bell's Beach and Pipe Masters. The CT upgrade really went back to the turn of the century, back when Andy Irons took this one out. How many of the people out in the crowd were here for that first championship tour event here at Lower Trestles? Big crew here, back once again. So we've seen the domination through the Australian era. Richie Lovett was down here once again after what he accomplished in his career, already back in the water after that hip surgery and overcoming with cancer. We've had B. Durbridge down here in the past, also playing the comeback role. Luke Egan, also one of that Aussies that took over. Joel Parkinson, we got to see him compete once again this season. It's so important for our tour to stop here in San Clemente to see who the best high-performance athlete is in the world. We want to see what they can do above the lip, on the open face, and it really is fun to watch. So big thanks to everyone here watching and also online, worldsurfleague.com, and all of our great broadcast partners around the world. Thanks for coming down once again. We want to definitely thank our event sponsors, Swatch, bringing on a women's championship tour event to Lowers. That changed everything in the pro surfing game. The last couple of seasons, seeing the women's best take over this lineup has been incredible. Big thanks to Hurley once again for coming down, doing great jobs with the sport as well. Big special thanks to the California State Parks. This place is truly a jewel and a treasure for us Southern California residents, and to see everyone traveling here from around the world and getting to see this beauty, not just from the wave, but what's on land. Thank you for hosting us and allowing us to be here once again. Our lifeguards doing a great job. Their job never ends, and we're so happy to be there with them. We want to say thanks to Mark Allen, South Sector Lifeguard Chief, for being with us. He's always protecting us down here on the beach. Also big thanks to Rich Hayden and Lori Coble for all your amazing support. All of our global partners as well: Samsung Galaxy, GoPro, Jeep, Pacifico, Workday, and Airbnb. Thank you very much. Here to present the trophies, we have some very special people right on stage here with me. We want to thank Leonardo Bottaro, Head of Sports International for Swatch. Thank you so much. Jesse Miley Dyer, still rips, by the way, former tour competitor, Deputy Commissioner. Thank you, Jesse. Karen Perot, former Pipe Master, Commissioner of the Tour. Quarter finalists out here as well. Still shredding. Rob Machado, hanging out here. Former Pipe Master. And he's been helping everybody out down at the Hurley Surf Club. Thanks again, Rob. That was really fun, and thanks for being on stage with us here. Kieran, maybe wild card potential for Rob this year. That'd be great. So now we think about this event and what it means for the women on tour. First year we got to see Stephanie Gilmore turn in a groundbreaking performance. It was unbelievable. We still rewind the tape on what she did to this wave. And then she passed the torch to another world champion named Carissa Moore last year, who came in as the defending champ. Now we come into a whole new era. The whole Jeep leaderboard is shaking up on the women and the men's side. And we had some groundbreaking performances. Who came down to watch Bethany Hamilton surf the other day? That was incredible to see, sending Tyler once again into that second round, and she had a lot of work to do, but obviously ended up going the distance. As we'd now like to introduce your runner-up in the Swatch Women's Pro. She's won 6 world titles. She's a former champion here at Lower Trestles, Stephanie Gilmore. Stephanie Gilmore has done everything in the sport. There's just one surfer with more accolades than herself. Might have you on this side, Steph. 7 world titles for Lane, 6 for this woman, as your second also tied on the all-time win list. Steph, it's been so fun to see you in this position because it never happens. Last year, obviously, you had the injury. That's why there was the lack of wins, and you came back to form this year. How good does it feel to be in your first final this season?
Yeah, it feels really good. I love this place. I love this wave, and so it's really nice to come here and get a good result. And yeah, you know, the world title race is really heating up at the moment. I'm completely out of it, but it's really nice to watch and just kind of sit back and do my thing on the side. And yeah, I'm happy with the finals. So congrats to Tyler and all of the girls, and of course everyone for coming to watch. Thanks for coming down, and appreciate it.
There's something special with your relationship with Lower Trestles, obviously relatively new to the tour, and you were so excited to have that one pop up. You had so many world titles before it. What is it about this place where you turn in such magic?
You know, it's so rippable. It's a skate park. There's no real fear of, you know, getting hurt or really big waves. I'm not really a big wave person, but yeah, it's just a really fun place. And I don't know, Southern California, this is such a cool place. Everyone loves surfing, and I don't know, I feel like when you're comfortable and happy, then you tend to get good results.
Seeing your position on the Jeep leaderboard, your take on the world title race, and what is your goal going to be for the remaining events of the season? Just
to win one. You know, I finally broke through and got past the quarterfinals, and you know, since my injury, I haven't really put together a complete performance through an entire event. So yeah, I'd love to win one. So we'll look for the Europe leg now and see what happens, and then we've got Hawaii too, which is a favourite. So we'll wait and see.
Stephanie Gilmore, runner-up of the Swatch Women's Pro, 6-time world champion, always putting on a great show here at Lower Trestles. Now it's time to introduce your champion for the 2016 Swatch Women's Pro, world number 1, Tyler Wright. Tyler Wright now takes her 4th win of the season. Clearly your best effort ever in your career in 2016, coming to a venue that maybe caused the most frustrating, emotional loss of your career after the post-heat interview last year when you lost to Carissa Moore. How good does it feel? How rewarding does it feel to be standing where you are now with that #1 trophy?
It feels pretty good. It's been quite a journey from this point last year, and it's all kind of come together and, you know, brought us to this moment, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Coming into finals day, we were breaking down the ankle injury that you consistently told us that was feeling great. Credit to the doctors on hand. What was the extra effort that you had to put in to take on this title?
I think, yeah, thanks so much to Mark Kazuski and Tim Brown. You know, they put so much work in the first few days, and it's feeling so good right now. And I think today it was just, you know, be smart pretty much. I had Steph in the final, and I knew I kind of had to get on the better waves, and just because she surfs so good. And yeah, that's pretty much it really.
Looking at those early interviews when you're just a little kid, you put Steph Gilmore as your hero. You wanted to be on the same team. You wanted to travel together. Is it crazy to think that you just took her out in a great final at Lower Trestles and now stand world #1?
You know what? It's surfing against Steph and just kind of growing up with Steph as someone that I look up to. I still honestly look up to her now. She's honestly in the surfing world my idol. So. I'm taller. No, but you know, I look at how she carries herself and how she's won 6 world titles, and it's probably it's just something that I really look up to, and just the way she's done it, it's definitely inspiring, and inspired me to do, you know, go after this, you know, my way and completely be myself while I'm doing it. So a massive thanks to Steph.
Tyler, you have 4 wins this season, the best effort you had in your career, and we have a few events left on tour before we close it out at Honolulu Bay. And now this just in, you have a mathematical shot of closing out this title race at the next stop at Cascais. How's that one soaking in?
Yeah, that's cool. It doesn't really change much for me what I set out to do this year, and you know, I said it all year. I set out with a goal, and that is to win every heat and win every final, and learn along the way. And you know, I'll go into the next events with that same goal and that same attitude. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I definitely just stick to my thing and yeah, keep having fun.
Tyler, who are the people you want to thank for ending up on top of the Swatch Women's Pro?
Actually, Steph and Jesse for all those, you know, pre-contest surf sessions. We had a lot of fun, and you know, my family, obviously, you know, those guys mean so much to me, and it's been such a huge year for us, and the whole town that I come from as well. They've such an input into how my life has turned out, and just the type of person that I am, and you know, I have massive thanks to those guys, because I know I wouldn't be here without them. And you know, the people that supported me, Rip Curl, Monster, and Matt Bowles as well, and Ocean and Earth, for you know, sticking by us and believing in us, and my coach Glenn Hall for just being a legend, and yeah, just helping me be my best. So thank you, and thanks to the crowd for coming down and everyone behind the scenes, and just like to say, like, this is in loving memory of David Wood. We love you, Woody.
Thank you so much. Tyler Wright, you're champion of the Swatch Women's Pro and world #1 heading into Cascais. Amazing performances that we'll never forget. And the fun part about coming to Lower Trestles, we get to do double duty with the women and the men's top 34 in the world, as this is stop number 8 for the men, here being the Hurley Pro, as we had some amazing performances, some crazy wild cards as well. Brett Simpson turning in his personal best, moving to the quarterfinals, and all of a sudden Tanner Gudauskas, representing San Clemente, California, turns in a semifinal result to really shake things up, and we lost the majority of the top 5 picture before we even got into the quarters. Now, we'd like to introduce your runner-up for the Hurley Pro, a former world champion, former event champion, Joel Parkinson.
Bravo. Yeah, bravo. Thank you so much.
Joel Parkinson, one of the legends of the sport, 2012 world champ. Before, though, take us back to the early days, 2004. That era seemed like Australian domination. There was something going on, and when we look back at the old tapes, the Aussies had a bit of a storm. Everyone would come down to celebrate those wins. How special is that memory every time you come back to San Clemente?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite memories, you know. I think that was when I really fell in love with this wave, this town, and the people in it. I mean, it's been an amazing experience, you know. We've had so many different years of blowers, and I guess seen in all its different moods, and this year was an exceptionally good year again. I thought the first few days the surfing was incredible, and you know, I'm really happy to be back here and standing here.
Really special, Joel, to see the last couple of years as you fighting for big results, returning to a final at the championship tour level. Has to feel pretty good.
It does, yeah, for sure. It's been a long time, you know. I guess some days I'm motivated and some days I'm not, and this event I was just so motivated, and I was so keen to really notch a win up, and I think that one slipped away from me. But in saying that, I mean, this talent of surfing in this event, and Jordy in particular, I got to give it to him. He was incredible all event. You know, he had some heats at the start where he, I guess, wasn't at his best, but he just got better and better and better, and a true testament to him. And he's an amazing surfer, and I believe a really definite top world title contender now.
Well, obviously in the final, Jordy started early, but you did have a game plan. Ended up coming back and put yourself in a position to compete. What were you thinking in that lineup when you found out you had a big score to come back?
Yeah, I thought, oh, come on, Mother Nature, just send me a wave, you know. It's what do you got to do? I was like, then, you know, we paddled for a pretty average wave, and the next one was good, and Jordy just ripped, you know. I really thought this morning, after watching Philippe's air, the very first wave, I was like, well, if I make the final, how do I beat this kid? And then you know, Jordy just came back and absolutely, you know, surfed amazing in that semi to take down Philippe and just kept rolling through the final.
Congratulations, Joel. Joel Parkinson, your runner-up here at the Hurley Pro, former world champ, with some massive totals, including that first round heat against one of his best friends, Mick Fanning. Now as we continue on with the awards, this man has stood up on top of the podium in the past. Let's introduce your 2016 Hurley Pro champion, Jordy Smith. Jordy Smith won this contest 2 years ago over John Florence. And now he returns to the podium again, now to take his 5th championship tour win of his career. And Jordy now lives in San Clemente. So this is his spot now, as it proved to come true once again. Well, Jordy, you looked like you were in rhythm out of the gates. You straight up just love this wave. What brings out your best on the canvas of lower Trestles?
To be honest, I've had a really good surfboard under my feet throughout this week. I've been really fortunate enough to oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just kind of did this event with an open mind, not expecting too much. I never got to surf this event last year, and the waves were firing. So in the beginning rounds, I just really want to go out there and just try and surf my best. Yeah, thanks to Joel. Thanks for those kind words. It's awesome. I've obviously watched Joel throughout my career, and definitely one of my favorite surfers for sure. Bit of a sad one too though, obviously with losing Woody. I think this is kind of the first event that anyone would win, so I just kind of dedicate this to him. And then also, actually Barton Lynch told me about Midget Farrelly as well a few weeks ago. And so just him and his family in our thoughts as well. But other than that, I just really want to say a huge thank you to Dustin and his family for really supporting me, all my sponsors. Yeah, my beautiful wife, she's on a yoga retreat at the moment, getting zenned out, so might have to send her on a few more of those. And obviously my family, my mother and father and the whole of South Africa and everybody supporting. There's been a lot of the boys and everyone that's come down here to support. So just frothing on top of the moon.
Jordy, very special feeling for you that you've had 5 times in your career. Your first wins at J-Bay, now winning here in Southern California. Your biggest statement, though, has always been to be in the world title race. Did you get extra motivation when we had the massacre on the top 5 picture of the Jeep leaderboard, knowing that you were the top seed?
Yeah, I think, in 2014 I went like 1-3-2, so if I can, just be in with a shot, then that'll be great. And Europe, me and Joel were just talking about it before, it can go either way for anyone, so just want to really try my hardest and see how it goes.
You said you had some pretty tough challenges with opponents. You had Felipe Toledo along with Joel Parkinson on finals day. What do you pick as your most breakthrough performance on the road to this final? Who's your toughest competition?
I think with the track record of Kelly, my round 4 matchup, the conditions were pretty tough, but I just kind of let a lot of it go, and I just wanted to surf my best against him and Michel Perez. Those 2 guys are considered like some of the most powerful surfers in the world, so I just wanted to go out there and really try and surf my heart out. And then obviously, like Joel said, Philippe's just deadly in these conditions. Pretty much just lands air reverses on cutback sections, so I knew that was going to be hard. Just wait for the best waves, and then Joel, a stubborn Australian. We were battling it out for the inside in the beginning, and we let a couple of good waves go, but after I rode my first wave, we kind of got into it.
Well done, Jordy Smith, your Hurley Pro champion here in 2016. Another congrats to Joel Parkinson, our finalist, and Tyler Wright as well, as the title race is definitely heating up. We'll send it back upstairs for the post-show with Rosie Hodge. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Joey, and what a day. I mean, just a huge congratulations to Tyler Wright, Stephanie Gilmore, Joel Parkinson, Jordy Smith. I mean, the winners have been crowned, and just, it's fun because at the end, the emotions just all hang out and you just hear it all.
I suppose a sport is about the people, isn't it? And that's, it's been so great for me to be here with you guys, and then to watch these young people who are, the champions of our sport today. They're such wonderful people, so sincere, such great emotion, and I think that's what makes our sport so great, is the people. And he's a funny bugger, old Jordy Smith, isn't he?
I know, it's classic, isn't it? And it's been such a great event, such a fun event. We've had a lot of emotion, a lot of drama that came with this event, and overall, we've got a smiling faces on the stage, got smiling faces behind the desk, and had a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And we are not done with the post show. After the break, we'll be looking at how the world rankings have been shaken up after the Swatch Women's Pro and the Hurley Pro Trestles. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching the WSL Post Show. We have just crowned our champions for the Swatch Women's Pro and the Hurley Pro Trestles. Just thinking about how this event has shaken up, we've seen a lot. I love the way that Joe called it the massacre of the top seeds in the beginning stages of this event. But we think about that top 10 picture and the requalification stories. I mean, it's really coming down to do or die for the boys and the women.
Oh, it's the things are up in the air. No one knows who. We know John's still in that yellow jersey, the Jeep leader jersey. That's one thing that stayed the same, but the rest of it was really mixed up.
Exactly, and we think about the ladies and how it's really come into favour Tyler Wright. But looking at the men, you mentioned John Florence still out on top. He'd be breathing a huge sigh of relief. And look at everyone else within striking distance, though, of his lead peak.
Well, I mentioned, Jordy Smith tightening the gap, and he's done exactly that. He's right behind Matt Wilkinson at 36,000 and then 35,000, so separated just by basically a heat. Gabriel Medina, was able to move up a slot, but John Florence again. So everything just kind of, those three guys not able to capitalize here at the Hurley Pro, not getting any points. They're basically throwaway scores for them, so it allowed Kelly Slater and Jordy Smith to really get up into the mix. Even at 29,650 for Kelly, he's not out of reach of this.
Well, it's crazy to see, Joel Parkinson coming to this event at 15. He jumps up to 6, and then Ace Buchan dropping from 4th all the way down to 7th. You think about how you're so affected by those bad results, and it's showing in your scoreline.
Well, it's going to be the story of the throwaways, isn't it? Because everybody now has got their throwaways already. One slip up from anyone, and you're going to be sliding down those ratings. So that's the real story, is that no one has been able to stay consistent and bank those quarterfinal plus results. Everyone's had some bad ones. So it's going to be really interesting, and the pressure is truly going to be on everyone.
And that's why I like Matt Wilkinson's too. He's got those couple wins, and he's still got that second runner-up. So he's got some big results, and then anytime you can make a final, if he can stay consistent, just at least quarters and above, he's still got a chance.
Yeah.
Well, you think about that knife edge. You've got the veterans that have been on tour that have seen it all before, and then the young guys that have nothing to lose. So it's really how you adapt to that pressure situation.
Oh, it's tough, mate. As an old guy who's been in that position, you know, you see Parko now, you've got nothing to lose, so you're able to go at it with that free spirit, but at the same time, you've got to be disciplined and conscientious to actually pull off that sort of result, you know. So, again, it's a really interesting tour at this point in time. Great mixture of old school moves, new school moves, and, you know, the young guard of... but John and Gabe, you can't go past those two, I would say, really.
Well, the one thing that we have is the world title race that we're so focused on. But at the end, you know, you also think about requalification for guys that are trying to provide for their families, really keep their dreams alive. So you think about how nerve-wracking it is for these guys, you know, in the lower part of the draw. I mean, Kaio Bailey, he's dropped a couple spots, as well as Sebastian Zietz. So, you know, the mindset coming into the back half of the year, surfing for your life, really.
It really is. And being in that top 22 is a feat in its own. You know, and a lot of guys are going to have to be doing double duty. We talk about being able to do both tours and how much of a drain that can be. You know, traveling all that. I mean, just doing the qualifying series is hard. You know, you look at Stu Kennedy; he's been able to get back in. A guy like Nat Young, who hasn't been threatened to get off tour, is sitting at number 20.
And the question would have to be too, sorry Rosie, is Mick Fanning. If he had done this whole tour, he certainly would be in there threatening for the World Championship.
Oh, guaranteed. We talk about, you know, people surfing for their life, trying to provide for their families. Stu Kennedy is one of those people. He's jumped up into that qualifying position. You think about Alex Ribeiro. I mean, the first time that we've seen him find his form as a rookie on tour, but then that work that has to be made up by the guys really bringing up the back end of the ratings.
I mean, you look at that list of guys like Jeremy Flores, who's never been off tour since he's been in here at 17 years old. He's looking at something that is, you know, he's got himself a pretty good backup over there on the qualifying series, but still has some work to do there. Probably easier for him to requalify on that side than it is right here on these last few events. But again, we don't know, and that's why we stay glued to the drama.
Well, one thing that we know, the rankings is always going to favor a couple surfers as we look further on into the contest that we have left in the draw. I mean, the 2016 season still has some gems on offer for the men. Going into the Quicksilver Pro in France, that can offer up some massive barrels, but it's always kind of tricky. Those beach breaks, finding the right bank, it can really throw a spanner in the works.
Well, if they get the conditions, the whole three of those events, it's a tube fest, isn't it? Portugal, France, and into Pipeline. So, you know, the tube riders, obviously, but then that's what's great about these top guys is you've got to be versatile because you never know what you're going to get.
Well, and that's it. With the Quickie Pro, you know, it's French beach breaks. It could be just about anything. The Most Rip Curl Pro, you also got to throw in the fact that we could be going to Nazare as a backup venue there. That's just a new addition. And then, of course, Pipeline.
It's so keeping us on our toes. I mean, we think about the leg that's stretching out for these athletes now. They've really got to put their, you know, really grind down, get it going, make sure they've got magic boards under their feet. I think that's one thing. The equipment is so important for these guys. A lot of them relying on those magic carpets. No comment on the boards, Pete. This is your wheelhouse right now, Pete.
I know. I touched on the magic boards. I know. I was just letting Barton kind of elaborate on it. Barton, I'd love to hear your point on those magic boards.
Well, I think in this day and age, with machine-shaped boards, consistency's come into it where, you know, you don't really have that problem like you used to. When they were handmade, you could get anything, and nowadays you've got the machines making the boards. They come out with that consistency. You can take 5 and pretty much pull out a new one like Joel Parkinson did here and know that it's going to work for you. So again, all the luxuries of modern technology coming into play here. Coaches, the medical staff, good boards, seeing the performance level just go through the roof.
So true.
Well, we have loved having your company here at the WSL Post Show. I mean, we've got so much to look forward to for the rest of the year, the rankings, how it's all going to shape up, but we will be seeing everyone in Europe, and we just want to leave you with the highlights from the Hurley Pro and the Swatch Women's Pro. Enjoy the music by Group Love from their new album, Hot Mess.